What's that? How did it start with that?
Moving along. Ready?
Let's see.
No.
I know I went around and saw the proper posting. Stuff.
Long purpose. So I really have to. I promise it wasn't on purpose.
It is 6 o'clock, and I will call the meeting of the City Council Honey Grove, July 8th meeting. This is our regularly scheduled meeting. We have tonight Mayor Pro Tem Lane. We have Alderpersons Kathy, Massey, and Moon. Therefore, we have our full council members present, and we have a quorum. And with that, I will ask Chief Lee Dixon if he will lead us in the invocation.
Heavenly Father, thank you for your love. Thank you for allowing us to gather in peace and tonight. Congregation, this council as we make decisions for the betterment of our community and for our citizens. Father, we ask you to bless the families that are bereaved. Bless those that's now doing the recovery efforts down in South Texas. Father, just be with them and guide them. Father, and all the friends and family of those that were lost. We just ask you to be with them today. Father, bless this city as they move forward, not only the city, but the state, this country, with each and every one. Father, we ask this blessing in the name of Amen.
Thank you. This time we'll move to the public forum. Members of the public may speak on an agenda item during the public forum section of the meeting, or at the time the agenda item is called for discussion by the mayor. Speakers will be given 3 minutes per speaker. Members of the public wishing to address the council on non-agenda items may do so with a 3-minute limit per speaker. Consistent with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the council members cannot discuss non-agenda items. All speakers are expected to maintain decorum when presenting and while in council chamber. Threats, personal insults, vulgar, profane language is out of order and may result in forfeiture of the remaining time and possible removal from the meeting. Citizens wishing to comment must make their request, and we generally have the sign-up sheet when folks get here. So with that, we do have tonight, we have an individual who is going to speak in public forum. Sriram is from KSA. It's not on the agenda tonight, and so I'm going to afford him a few more minutes because what he's going to share with us, we need to know, the council needs to know. And so if you will go ahead and come up, I appreciate it. By the way, KSA is our engineering firm with whom we work.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity here to talk about the project and meet you all. So I'm going to talk about, give a project update on the CWSRF project with the Texas Water Development Board. This project got started out, the loan got closed in February, and we got started on the project in March, April timeframe. So this is an update up until this point. So there are two major aspects of the project. We have the wastewater treatment plant, the Honey Grove wastewater treatment plant, and then the collection system project. So what sort of shortcomings we have in the system. So some of the findings that we have, the existing lift station, that receives all of the city's water right now at the plant, that seems to be very much like reaching its capacity. It's pretty much consistently putting out peak flow rates, especially when we have large rain events and we have a lot of influent infiltration coming in. So that's one of the major findings that we saw. The existing lagoons, it's never been dewatered, Charles. It's not been desludged before. There is a bit of buildup, but probably you didn't have to clean it out, but you haven't gotten any exceedances on the effluent on the quality side, so you haven't had to do that. The headworks is in a pretty bad shape, if you will. The grit chamber is being taken out of service also, so it's really just passing into the system. The outfall pipe is broken, and Charles had to do quite a bit of maintenance on those surface aerators that we have. So in all, plant-related, equipment, this is a 25-year-old plant. It's quite dated, and there's quite a lot of wear and tear on the plant, and it's need of some serious upgrades, especially with future flows and future development. So for that, obviously, because it's within the current floodplain area, we needed to look at other spots where we can build and upgrade the plant. So we selected 3 sites, pretty much all in that same vicinity. It gives us the advantage of, using this, similar affluent from the TCQ's perspective. So we evaluated them against TCQ criteria like floodplains and separation distances. See if there's any historical sites within the area, USGS information, and we sort of settled on one of the areas for the time being, and we've been communicating with Lori about that, about acquiring that property and just establishing a contact with them, and maybe you can distribute. So we figured we needed about 10 acres of land. So we've started that conversation with them. So we'll see how it goes in the next few weeks or so. So on top of that, on the site in our office, we've been doing biowind modeling, which is basically a modeling of the existing treatment system as well as future treatment systems that we would like to propose. And this is how we sort of ended up with that 10-acre requirement. And then on top of that, we've been evaluating different types of technologies as well, wastewater technologies, including SBR, common wall, and MBR systems. So we have gotten prices and quotations, preliminary prices and quotations for the flow and the quality that we're looking at. So some of them have been very encouraging in terms of the cost. The others are just way too expensive, and we don't have the funds for it. So we'll need to sort of evaluate that and discuss it, and get this completed by the planning stages. And we've started the conversation with TCQ as well, a pre-consultation meeting with them, and they have given us preliminary effluent limits, which are much more stringent than the current ones that we have. Now, one of the reasons they say that it could be because of the Godard Lake and the development coming in, they want cleaner, effluent going into any of the streams that. So, either now or later, there is going to be that stringent requirement applied, and the lagoon systems can only take you to a certain point on the effluent. So we talked a little bit about property acquisition. So we're on schedule on this portion of the project right now. Going forward, sewer place, sewer pipes that have been failing. It's been allowing quite a bit of inflow and infiltration. So we're looking at modeling the system, doing CCTV assessments, camera assessments, and figuring out which would be the best, which lines would be the best to replace. So, there are a total of over, 120,000 feet of line or so, but, we probably have money for less than, say, 20,000 feet of line, plus or minus. So we're really looking to prioritize. So we've completed the model. For the most part, we've completed the model with the information that we have. Now, the second part is to get with Charles. He's been quite a bit backed up without the staff. But, going forward, we'll work with him closely on the CCTV aspect of it and the model aspect of it. So see where it overlaps. So wherever, there's higher flow and more damage to the pipes, that's your number one priority to replace. So lower flows and less damaged pipes can be replaced later on. And one thing that we kept talking about is the East Lift Station. I think it's very critical. Whenever it rains, it's just nonstop, for hours and hours. So we know that there is an issue there. We're trying to pinpoint exactly where that is and work towards a solution on that. We're behind schedule on this one. We need to align the CCTV inspections along with the model, and then if there's any sort of environmental coordination inputs, that'll come into play as well. But also, start working closely with Charles now moving forward and get that CCTV completed and try to get it back on schedule. And so the next steps, like I said, selection of the lines for replacement, again, getting everyone's agreement on that, and then doing our topographical geotechnical investigation, and just completing it with the planning stage. So, that's pretty much all I have. I have another one, the Honey Grove Water Loss Project that is closing in a couple days, so day after tomorrow. So hopefully that's all good news for us. That's 90% grant project, so we're really looking forward to getting that going as well.
We appreciate your coming, and hopefully you will come to one of our workshops and we can sit down and talk and question and then bring it back again.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And you're welcome to stay for the whole meeting, or you're welcome to go back to Dallas.
Right back home.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That brings us to item 5 on the agenda, the consent items. Council, you have in your packet the minutes of the previous meetings that we've had, the City Council meeting of June 10th, the City Council workshop of June 24th, the liabilities and disbursements, City Secretary report, the Police Department report, the Utilities Department report, and the Fire Department report. And unless there are questions about any of these items, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
A motion that we accept the consent items as presented.
We have a motion from Ms. Lane that we approve the consent items as presented. Do we have a second? Have a second from Ms. Massey. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. This brings us to item 6, Mayor and Council presentation. Again, this is information only, not action items. Anything from the council? All right. Number 7, we have no old business listed on the agenda, so therefore we move to the new business, which is item 8. Consider and take action on, and the first item is A, 360B broadband franchise agreement. And we have Dustin and Drew who are here to speak on this issue.
Mayor Kathy, appreciate you guys having us back down here. Always good to be back in Honey Grove, we've been out walking the streets, talking to customers on our fixed wireless. But we want to come back today. We met with you guys back on April 9th, I believe, on our initial conversations about the franchise agreement. Since that meeting, we've had a good conversation from the city. We want to get this partnership going, we want to move forward. So we want to come here tonight and see how we can get this to move forward. Anything, any final questions? Get the project going.
Questions?
I also have Drew Beveridge, our Chief Operating Officer with me tonight. He's the one that wrote the grant for the Texas Broadband Development Office that will serve Honey Grove. So we also have our partners with Transtel here that were also at that meeting back in April. Answer any questions that you guys might have.
Our goal is to answer anything, any concerns that you may have, and anything that related to the Move 2 project, how it works, about 360. If you guys have any questions, we can do an introduction or however you feel comfortable with that.
Questions from the council? Nothing?
So where we stall out on, we're looking at this franchise agreement. We met with you guys. We need to get this moving. The next steps for us, we're about 2 months away from having boots on the ground in Honey Grove. We want to have the Honey Grove members connected by the end of this year. So all fiber connected to the house by the end of 2025. And so our goal is to get Honey Grove first. It's our first thing. So where we start this project off. 360 communications and 903 broadband merge to form 360 broadband. We all have the same mission to serve unserved and underserved locations. I've been building rural internet since I was 15 years old. We had an internet company out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. My dad started a dial company there. And so we've served rural internet the entire time. The funding mechanism for Boot 2 was based to bring fast, high-speed fiber to the countryside. There's no other way to get fiber here because your cost per pass is so high. That's why we always serve fixed wireless here, right? The cost per pass is so expensive. So that was a $65 million project, and 360 is putting $12 million in. So if you do the math, it's about $3,600 a house, and 360 is contributing, and the state is going to contribute that other piece to bring fiber to all of these locations. And so we're super excited to get this project kicked off, and we want to kick it off here. And so our partners with Transtel, these guys can answer any questions on the construction side. They've been doing this their entire careers, I think 30 years plus. They've done several other projects with us, very professionally, and we're ready to go. So if you guys can point us in the right direction to get this thing going, we'd love to get this kicked off in the next 2 months.
I'm the right direction, and I will take some responsibility for this lagging behind because I think they have not gotten the full franchise agreement that I proposed. I thought my staff had sent it. I checked it today, and they sent only a one-page document. There's about 40 other pages. So I'm the guy you need to yell at if you're mad about it not getting shared. Yelling's okay. Look, I'm used to yelling. But here's my card. I've given the documents to the city secretary. She has one. The city needs to pass a right-of-way use ordinance first. That's ready. We will do that next month. I will get that on the agenda. In the meantime, you can get that from her. I think she has your email address, and she will send that to you at the end of the day. I will not let her go home because she gave me the wrong address here tonight. We're going to have to talk about that. But she will send that to you.
Okay.
Then here's my card. You can call me directly, and that way we can cut out all the middle. So we'll get that done, work out that franchise agreement so it'll be ready when you guys are here in 2 months, we can get her all framed.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton. I think I had one page in my packet.
It's not one page. I kept asking I'm gonna call her my staff. Because I was gone for 2 weeks. I said, they're asking for this. Haven't you sent it? Yes. So did I get rid of this. I said, tell me what you sent it. She brought in this. I said, that ain't it.
That's what I had.
That won't get us there. So, my fault, my staff, I apologize.
We're excited about it. We want to come in and answer those questions. I believe this finished by 2025. They have a quick time turnaround. The Move To program, if anybody follows this, kicked off 3 years ago, and they finally signed the agreements this year, and they're like, hey, get it done next year. Yeah, so they get 3 years for paperwork, 2 years for construction.
Well, we do appreciate your coming out. I know that when Chastity was handing this out, a couple of council members said, I don't think I'll have time to read this before the meeting starts. And so we will put this on our workshop. We have a workshop at the 22nd, I think, and then we can look it over and discuss it, and we'll be ready when Mr. Hamilton, his staff, gets this done. We
If you have a
appreciate it.
staff, you can always blame it on them.
That's what we do. We blame it on Chastity, our staff.
She's been great.
Jackson gets beat up here.
Yeah.
She can make us pay.
If there are any questions that you all have, I do have one question that I want to ask, and I asked this when you all came. I know originally you had planned, and maybe you said this, I was still thinking about Mr. Hamilton's staff when you might have said this. But are you thinking that this will be more aerial sort of stuff rather than ground?
They did some core samples, and I think you guys even looked at what the gas
Okay.
companies were going in, and with the solid rock and with the time frame,
Yeah.
we need to move. And so I think aerial makes the most sense with the infrastructure in place. And so that also will do less damage for utilities. We all know that utilities are fun to locate, and there's damages that can happen when we do that. We always try to do as cleanly as possible, but it is the nature of the
Yeah. We have Amos Gas here right now, and of course they're digging and they're discovering our rock formations.
We always
as well.
find it,
So,
we'll let you know where it's at.
yes. We appreciate your coming. Thank you so much.
I have a question.
You have a question?
Can you just, there's a couple of us that are new. Can you just tell us kind of what the overview of your thing is in like a 30-second?
Yeah.
What's the difference in aerial and digging up the ground and all that? How does that work?
It's still in the delivery to the house, right? And so it's based on the construction model. And so you have an infrastructure in place that's in your easements that we can attach to. Otherwise, it would be boring rigs that would go underground. And with the solid rock, it would take a long time to get it that much, right? So it's just and then when you're going underground, you're also finding and locating water lines that might be mismarked or forgotten about where they are. So the aerial is quicker, and it also is less disruptive to the utility side. We like underground because if a drum driver hit a pole or lightning hit a tree, which we just came in, there's trees down, right? So there's more risk on our side for repairs, but it's a 50-50, right? You could have a squirrel chew on the aerial, or you could have a locate get missed and someone could dig into your cable and then you're digging the whole area. So it depends. I think you guys have been doing this long enough that there's one or the other. But in this case, the evaluation, they did the samples. It would take us a lot longer to be able to bore this ground.
So how much difference is it between, those of us that have satellite that connect to the school or whatever and what you're doing?
So what's funny about that question is if you're on fixed wireless through 360 now, the speed of what you're watching movies on won't change, right? Think of it as a water pipe, right? You have so much pressure coming into your home, and for movies and everything, nothing changes, right? But if you have a kid that's downloading a game and it's 500 megs, 500 gigs, it's the size of the bucket, how fast you can fill that bucket up. So the stream is always going to be the same speed, low latency with fixed wireless to fiber. But if you need to download a game, it's the difference of 100 megs to 1,000 megs on 1 gig service. So you can 10 times faster if you have a fastest wireless to the fiber. Then on the second part of that fiber, it has more reliability, and so it's symmetrical, so it's up and down. Where fixed wireless is designed to give you more download to the house than upload to the house. So if you're working from home and you're sending data back out, that's where you put it.
Is there a large, and this is my last question, is there a large difference in price
No,
for
it's actually, with the government subsidizing this, we're going to come in at a lower price point on some of those lines.
Okay.
So it'll range really close, but with the Move To program, we came in with a very aggressive bid. 360 serves this area already, and so instead of having someone from out of state bid on this, we thought, hey, this is our backyard, this is what we serve. We have 50 employees, right down here in Leonard. So our goal was to defend our territory where we've already spent millions of dollars in infrastructure, and and then upgrade that to provide faster, better speed for our current customers and our future customers.
Thank you.
Right now, we've got about 120 customers in Honey Grove. Whenever we do the fiber swap over, they don't have to pay an upgrade fee or anything.
That's correct.
And then myself and Christian, we've been knocking doors, meeting people. We've put a lot of time and effort into the community already. So you'll see us a lot as well as we go forward.
I have your service, and it's been great. So I'm excited for y'all to expand and all that. So it's great.
We're excited too.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you so much. That brings us to item B, and item B, if I might, before we actually get into it, I know Avery is here to speak on item B. Let me just say a couple of words before we go, and it might actually save us a little time. And I know in my conversation with Mr. Edwards, he called today, and part of his concern is the timeline at this point. And so he was questioning whether or not we were going to go forward with action. And I believe he had a conversation with you all where I think you shared with him that your interest really at this point was not the grant, the big projects, but focusing on what you can do with where you are right now as a group. And I don't know how the council feels, so we'll have a conversation about that. But I know, and here's the point, he basically said that if we did not go forward at this point, that there will be other opportunities when you may be more ready to take on a larger project. With that said, I'll just open it to the council. Well, is there anything that you'd like to add, Avery, before?
I have a whole presentation. Do you want me to speak now, or do you want us to wait?
Well, we can find out, if you want to find out what the council's position is, and then we'll, okay.
I've talked to Avery myself, and I don't think they're ready to do this at this point. I think that the city is going to be responsible for some of the funding, and I'm not sure where we are at this point. But I would like to see the council and the city take some ownership in some of this and try to budget for some of these projects that these volunteers and this group has done. But I don't think the grant is the way to go for the city at this point. And so I would make a motion to pass on this item.
We have a motion. Do I have to pass on the grant this time? Do we have a second? I have a motion from Mr. Caffey, a second from Ms. Lane. Is there other discussion? All those in favor of passing on the grant at this time? Motion carries unanimously. The way that gets us to the place where we're focusing on. And that was really his position, is that at this point, it sounded like you all were saying that taking on a big project right now might be more. And the honest truth is, the city has a lot going on right now to take on another grant, I think. So, but there will be others, and hopefully when we get to the next phase, Mr. Edwards is happy to come back and work with us anytime we're ready to do that. Do you want to add anything, Avery?
Would now be the time to do my presentation? Y'all are very scary, so I decided to
We're real scary.
Yes.
Well, we don't mean to be. The only person that's really scary is Mr. Hamilton down there.
I agree.
Even Lee. I mean, he's scarier than Lee, the chief. No, are you wanting to talk about what you all want to do at this point?
Avery, please come give your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I, of course, brought packets.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't start circling stuff that's not even in here.
So this is instead of the grant.
Yes.
Okay.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many kids, she didn't know what to do. She took them to the park, had out these swings, they were through. No climbing, nothing new. The beautification committee is here to help, but we need your help too. Little icebreaker, y'all from here. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm here tonight representing the Honey Grove Beautification Committee to ask for your support in helping us take the next big step in improving our city park. As many of you know, the current playground is outdated and no longer meets the needs for families and children in our community. A new, safe, and engaging play area would make such a difference, not just for the kids who use it every day, but for Honey Grove as a whole. We will look at several playground systems and have identified what we consider good, better, and best options. So the first one, I included pictures at the back of the packet too, that kind of shows like all the specs of the first one. And it's solid, smaller option that would meet our basic needs for right now. The next one in it is the step up, offering more features and room for water age range of kids. And then the last one is the better option, or the best option. And it would be the best choice to serve our community both now and for Honey Grove continues to grow. Nothing has been decided yet, but these are examples just to have numbers and things to look at. We estimate the total cost, including equipment, safety, mulch, groundwork, and installation, to be between $40,000 and $50,000, depending on the final system that is chosen. We're thankful for the time and support you've given us to explore the Texas Park and Wildlife Grant. After learning about the details of timeline and realizing that we have a strong enough proposal to be competitive, we decided it would be best to hold on the line this year. That said, we're not slowing down. The beautification committee has worked hard to plan and prepare for this project, but we know we can't do this piece alone. That's why we're asking the city to consider including us in the Parks and Recreation budget to help make this playground a reality. This funding would mean everything for our project and allow us to move forward faster and focus on completing the rest of the park instead of spending years trying to fundraise for this one part. Honey Grove is growing and we need space to grow with it. Spaces that make families proud to call us home and that welcomes visitors with the kind of charm and care Honey Grove is known for. Thank you for your time and believing in what we're trying to do. We're ready to do our part as your helping to make it happen. Do y'all have any questions on anything? Everything, I called and got a quote on like mulch and stuff like that, and I called with raw materials, and they may actually consider giving us a pretty good discount rate on it. They just kind of need to know when we're going forward with it, but, any small help would be appreciated, no matter what y'all can do. But other than that, we will definitely do our part.
Would y'all be removing all of the existing equipment?
The plastic stuff.
Just the plastic stuff?
I think we would have a riot if we started moving metal stuff.
So like the swing sets would remain?
For right now, I think later on they would definitely probably need to be replaced because some of them, I mean, you could love them, but, you know, that would be upgraded.
Other questions?
Installation on these playground units, do we have any idea what that costs? Is it just per size?
I tried to look at it too, and a lot of it says that you can have volunteers come out and do it. The main thing is like, of course, drilling the hole, putting concrete and securing the holes, and I think everything after that is just building. And with this one that I looked at, like the shipping on this company, like we just pulled together a couple, and so the shipping on this, the freight, is pretty expensive, but we also looked at other options that said like they would have free freight. Just their equipment kind of cost more, so I figured they'd probably just put it in the cost of equipment anyway.
Is a company in Dallas or somewhere that we could maybe go get the equipment, or just to save some money, or do you know? You know? Okay.
It's on 75 outside of Melissa, on the left-hand side, there's a place that has playground equipment, you guys want to check there. Okay, yeah, because that would be local, that someone could actually drive. Okay, well, I actually just sat down and talked with one of them at 360, he said that their Durant Boys and Girls program is actually getting rid of old equipment and selling it, so.
Is this stuff able to be put on flatbed trailer or an open trailer, or does it have to be a butane trailer?
I don't know where this, like, with this company is coming from, if there was anything
Do you have financial donations yet?
Um,
I ask because it's the next item on the agenda.
yes, we did get, a single check. It's kind of, proving that we're going to do something with the park and building confidence with the community to kind of get something. But we also haven't really approached like businesses and stuff for sponsorships and everything. We were trying to figure out exactly how much money we were looking at going for. Dan and Dayton, I know they talked to, and they want an itemized list of things that we're gonna have, and they would like to sponsor something. So it's kind of just getting, a feel from y'all to go and build a proposal to take it to businesses.
So let me be clear. You're really asking for support from the city for whatever the city could do. And I'm asking really, does it have more to do with budgeting for the new year? That would be my
Yes.
assumption,
Yes.
looking at the budget for the new year. To see
Which,
what.
I mean, we could start fundraising, I mean, we're definitely gonna start doing fundraisers and stuff like
Yeah.
that to get money, but to get $25,000 is gonna take a lot longer. I think everything else, I think this is our big ticket item, it's gonna take forever to do anything with, but I think anything after that, I think we pretty much have covered for the majority of it.
So I have a question about and it may be for you guys, is there like an application process for the Durant playground equipment? Like,
My buddy's the CEO, I just shot him a text to see if he was that in, so. They just took it out, sounds good. Okay, so
And there's a lot of connections we haven't reached out to yet, so I think we should get a lot of it.
Any other questions on this side? All right.
Thank you for all your work.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
You're also talking about C, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Opening a
Any
bank
questions for
account.
that too?
Yeah. Apparently what we're trying to do is to open a bank account where you all can deposit funds that you have coming into you so that there's some accountability and that sort of thing. And so you're asking the city to open that account?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was what was discussed at the,
Okay.
can you hear me? That was what we discussed when we were talking about the grant thing at the city hall.
Sure.
Just for somewhere for people to feel like if they're going to donate $5,000, they're going to give it to an individual, like having an account that people can donate to, and it just goes directly there and for the park use.
Mr. Hamilton, there's any legal issues associated?
There absolutely are, and we need some time to research that. The city's involved in charitable donations. We're not a 501c3. That money's dedicated. We have to do it correctly. I'm not against it. I just don't want to do it and then find out we did it wrong. Yeah.
Anything else on this side?
Do we need to pass on this item for now?
Well, we can take action on this item, correct or no?
Which item?
Well, I'm talking about C at this point. No. Yes? No.
I don't know what you want to do.
I'm sorry, I have a thought. Since Chamber is a nonprofit, would it be easier if the Chamber opened up a separate park account? I don't know if that would, because I know that the city's going to be helping, you're talking about possibly budgeting and the beautification committee. Since we are a nonprofit from Chamber, would that bypass anything or help you guys out if we just opened up a private park and maybe have, Lori as a signer on it as well? That way everybody's involved with that.
If you want the city to kick in some money on this, to have matching funds, you need to have the donations made at the city. Because I have seen it before, as everybody else has. Everybody playing in the same sandpot right now. And sometimes it doesn't work out that way. So if you want the city support, my recommendation to my client is you put the money over at the city. We'll get the account set up. I just want to do it right. And then the donations come here and it will be dedicated to park and park improvements, which makes it illegal to use it for anything else. Okay?
I will make a motion to let Mr. Hamilton do some research on item C.
Okay.
I can talk louder.
Yeah, you talk louder, I heard you. So we have a motion from Mr. Moon to do some more research on item C.
I'd second that.
We have a second from Mr. Cathy. Any other discussion? All in favor? Raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that brings us down to item D, personnel issues, hiring, salary, compensation, interview for position of city secretary. And with that, the city of Honey Grove does not routinely list the items for executive session consideration. However, consistent with the authority cited below, the city may retire into executive session as permitted and as needed on agenda items as authorized by Texas Government Code, Section 551071, consultation with attorney, and 551.074, personnel matters. And with that, I'll entertain a motion.
You want to add E onto that too, because it's.
Yes, I do. And personnel issues, staffing, hiring, modification of job duties, salary, full-time and temporary for office clerks at City Hall, including support staff, water clerk, and court clerk. And so with that, I will entertain a motion to retire to executive session. I have a motion from Ms. Massey, second from Ms. Lane. All in favor? Motion carries. And gentlemen, we appreciate your being here, and you certainly are welcome to just stay and you're welcome to go. So, thank you. Thank you for coming.